A'udzubillahi minasyaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Dear students, how are you? I hope that everybody is fine. Alright. So this is the recording for our lecture, and the lecture is covering topic number 6, and I want you to refer to chapter number 9, okay, in Lucas textbook. Alright. And the chapter starts at page 158. So the title of the chapter is Organizing the Speech. Alright, so basically I hope that after you have read this chapter, you should be able to, number 1, explain why is it important to organize speeches clearly and coherently. Number 2, I hope that you should be able to identify 5 major patterns of organizing main points in your speech as a public speaker. Number 3, I hope that you can have the ability to discuss the guidelines given in the text for organizing main points, okay, in the textbook lah. And then number 4, I hope that you can explain the 4 kinds of speech connectives and their roles in your speech later. Alright, let us go to the first part in this particular chapter. So when we talk about organizing speech, you need to know that you must have the capability of organizing your speech well. Okay, why? Because when you are delivering a speech, you need to make sure that whatever points that you deliver is basically delivered. Okay, it is not only in your head, but you maybe forgot to deliver it because you are not organizing your speech well, or you have done your preparation, you have done your organization of your speech, but it cannot be delivered, maybe because the delay of time, maybe because of external problems, your own problem maybe, okay, your health, okay, and so on. So you need to know that as a public speaker, you need to make sure that you have the capability of organizing your speech. To organize your speech is so important, okay? So this is what been mentioned by Lucas by what we call as strategic organization. Okay, the way how you can put your speech together in a particular way in order to achieve a particular result with a particular audience. For example, in the very beginning of the day, I might have a class of public speaking with my students. So I need to have my strategy organization of putting my speech of public speaking in a particular way of delivering it, like what others had done in terms of achieving the objective of giving my students the capability of public speaking skill with a particular audience, means with you, alright, the students of public speaking paper. And at the very end of the day, maybe in the evening, I have another class with another group, and the subject is Islamic work ethics. So my strategy organization of handling the class, okay, I need to put a speech of Islamic work ethics together in a particular way to achieve the objective of Islamic work ethics essence among the audience of Islamic work ethics. So there are 2 different strategy organizations there. So your ability in organizing your ideas clearly and coherently is a very, very vital skill as a public speaker. So clear organization is essential to effective public speaking. That is what Lucas said in this particular subtopic, okay? And then clear organization is actually connected to critical thinking. The way how you want to associate, okay, your idea, maybe you have arranged it nicely, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but maybe in a specific session you cannot focus nicely. Topic number 1 Until topic number 5, 20% each to achieve 100%. Maybe you need to focus more on topic 1 and 2. But topic 3, 4 and 5, you just go through and ask the audience to read by themselves. So this is what we call as clear organization is connected to critical thinking. Maybe you think that it is so important to explain more on topic 1 and 2, and the other 3 topics could be done, the reading, the understanding later out of the class. So this is what we call as critical thinking. Alright, and then in this particular sense, okay, organizing speeches helps students understand the relationships between ideas. Okay, organizing your speeches as a public speaker will help the students, will help the participants understand the relationships between ideas that you delivered. And number 2, the skills of critical thinking used in organizing speeches will benefit students in many aspects of their lives. Okay, the skills of you as a public speaker will benefit the participants, the audience, in terms of anything related to their lives. Okay, when they can use whatever you delivered in your speech. Okay, now we move on to the discussion of main points. What is main points? Okay, main points in Lucas' textbook, okay, he specified it as the major points developed in the body of a speech. Okay, any major points, important points developed in the body of a speech. So the main points are the most important element in organizing the body of a speech. Why? Because main points are the central features in the body of a speech. So they should be selected carefully. Speeches should have a limited number of main points. And according to experts, okay, most speeches contain from 2 to 5 main points. You might have more than that. You might have only 1 main point. But mostly in maybe a long, not so long or not so short speech, we always have around 2 to 5 main points. But if a speaker discovers that she or he has too many main points, so the points should be condensed into a few broad categories. So it means that if you have more than maybe 5 points, let's say you have 10 points in your speech, so it means that here you need to divide it into 2 sessions of speech, whereby the first speech will deliver the 5 first points, and then the other speech you might have another 5 or 6 points. So you need to make it condensed into few broad categories of speeches. Alright. So before we go to this particular slide, okay, in your textbook, in page 160 to page 162, okay, there are several explanation and examples given by Lucas, okay, related to main points, okay. And then when we talk about main points, as a public speaker, we should select them carefully. We should then phrase them precisely, and then we try to put it in the whole speech, okay, by arranging them strategically. Which part we want to put the main points? At the very beginning, all the main points, or we need to scatter it, okay, a little in the beginning, a little in the middle, and a little or the balance in the end of our speech. Okay, so it is up to us, because this is related to what I said just now, our critical thinking, to treat it as so important or less important. So in main points, okay, we need to have the 3 layers of points, like what been the 3 layers of understanding, as what been shared by Lucas in page 160 to 162. Okay, in order to have the main points, it means that we need to understand specific purpose. We have discussed about specific purpose and central idea in our previous chapters. So I hope that you can revise it. Okay, so here, when we have a good purpose and we specified it already, And then we can move on to central idea. And then from central idea, we can segregate the central ideas into several main points. Okay, like what have been shared here. I hope that you can read by yourself in page 160 to page 162. Okay. Alright, so when we talk about main points, okay, main points should be organized strategically in order to achieve the speaker's purpose. So according to Lucas, I make it simple here, okay? When we arrange main points chronologically, so it means that main points follow a time sequence because it is chronological. Okay, maybe we want to explain something historically, so we start with the earliest year of the history, followed by the next years, and then the recent time, for instance. So that's what we call as chronologically. Number 2, when we arrange our main points spatially. So it means that our main points follow a directional pattern. From right to left, from left to right, from the front to behind, or from up to below, up to down, okay, from above to below, for instance. So this is spatially. And then when we arrange main points causally, so main points show a cause and then the effect relationship. When we do this, we'll explain that. And the effect of doing that. So this is what we call as cause and effect relationship. So causally. And the fourth kind of ordering main points is it can be organized in problem and solution order. We have a situation. And then how we want to solve the situation. So this is what we call as problem and solution order. And then number 5, main points are most often arranged in topical order. Okay, so when we talk about chronological order, again, main points follow time pattern. I give you the example here. Alright, so what is chronological order? Jamie, maybe in the beginning, she bought 5 ingredients. Chronology, and then after she bought the 5 ingredients, in the middle, Jamie baked the pie. We know that we have some other sequences here. After bought the pie ingredients, she need to get ready with the bowl, the oven, okay, and all the apparatus needed for her to bake the pie. So we cut short to middle, okay, so Jamie baked the pie, and then at the end, Jamie ate the pie. So this is what we call as chronological: beginning, middle, and end. Okay, so it's the same like when you try to explain to maybe your students, maybe around 6 or 7 years old students, about salat. So you start with beginning by having what we call as wudu, and then after wudu, we get ready for niyat, takbiratul ihram, al-fatihah, and then we have our rukuk, we have our i'tidal, okay, and so on until we give our salam. So this is what we call as chronological order. And then another example of chronological order main points, okay, I took the development of USIM, simple kind of chronology, okay. So number 1, USIM begins as a university college with the name of College Universiti Islam Malaysia, QUIM, in the year 2000. And then the next chronology, the next development, USIM started its operation in College Baitul Mal Trust and moved to Menara MPAJ in 2001. Next, USIM had partially moved to its own campus in Nilai, Negeri Sembilan in the year 2005. And among the first staff or academics been transferred to campus Nilai is your public speaking lecturer who is speaking now. Okay, alright, and then the last one is USIM had been upgraded to a full university as Universiti Sains Islam Malaysia in the year of 2007. So this is the example for chronological order main points. Okay, next, when we talk about special order. So special order means main points follow directional pattern. We have a direction, so we explain from the direction given, okay, or the direction that we have put it in, right? So for instance, special order main points. Maybe we want to start with I took the examples from Lucas book, okay. So this is about hurricane, okay. Hurricane tu apa? Ribut tu lah kan, yang puting beliung, okay. So at the center of a hurricane, so special order main points, I start with the center of the hurricane, okay. At the center of a hurricane is the calm, cloud-free eye. It means that when you are standing inside the hurricane, okay, at the very center of the hurricane, it is the calm place. Dia tak havoc, pusing-pusing, terbang-terbang ke apa ke, okay, because the research have been done. When you stand betul-betul dekat tengah-tengah dalam a hurricane, there is the calm, cloud-free eye position. And then surrounding the eye is the eye wall, a dense ring of clouds that produces the most intense wind and rainfall. Okay, di situlah yang mungkin kereta boleh terbang, rumah boleh terbang, tanah boleh terbang, lembu boleh terbang dan sebagainya. So, the surrounds of the eye, okay. And then the third layer, the spatial order of the third layer is rotating around the eye wall are large bands of clouds and precipitation called spiral rain bands. So if you want to know about this, you can simply open the development of hurricane ataupun what can you find in a hurricane, okay, in YouTube. Okay, so you can YouTube by yourself lah. Next, what we call as arranging main points using causal order. Okay, main points show cause and show the effect, okay, in a relationship. So from A to B. So the example can be found in Lucas textbook, okay. So I took the example straightly from here, okay. The United States faces a growing shortage of trained nursery in all parts of the country. So that's the cause. So the effect is, if this shortage continues, it will strain the entire health care system. So if I want to explain about the success of public speaking students in this subject, for instance, so I said that, okay, if the students is hardworking, if the students show good quality in doing their assignments, and then in the presentation they did the best in producing good video presentation, so the effect will be good marks for or good grade for public speaking paper. Or at the other side of the coin, if the students are so lazy, didn't participate in any group presentation or group assignment, and not doing good in the quizzes and so on, so the effect will be not a good grade, or he or she need to take the subject again next semester. So this is what we call as the causal order main points. Okay, next, what we call as problem solution order. Okay, we have a problem, and then the second main point is the solution. For instance, while I try to explain about when I want to plant several vegetables. So at the very beginning of the process, the vegetable grow very good, Alhamdulillah. But suddenly there is a problem with the planting process. Okay, there are a lot of worms, a lot of ants, insects which destroy the vegetables. So my second main point can be the solution. So the solution towards that is, number one, I need to buy some pesticide. Number two, I need to make sure that I look after the vegetable every day. I need to water the vegetables twice a day, early in the morning and at the end of the evening, for instance. So this is what we call as problem and solution. Okay. So problem, solution, order, main points. This is another example. I take the problem for statement number 1. Smoking in the public is a real problem among our society. So this is problem. You might want to explain it more, okay? But this is just example, okay? So number 2, what is the solution? So solution will be your next main point, okay? Solving the problem requires legislation and individual initiative. So when I disembark with the sub of the main points can be number 1, the category of problems, okay? We have the main point, and then we have the sub points of the main point, and then number 2, the solution. So we have the main point of solution of smoking problem. So I have my sub main points for solution. So this is what we call as problem, solution, order, main points. I hope you get it. Okay. Okay, and the last one, the mostly used, okay, by a public speaker is topical order of main points. Okay, so it means that main points divide topic into logical and consistent subtopics. Okay, apa contoh dia? What is the example? So I might want to take a story or a speech about roles of a counselor. So I take topical, means I can take from any part of the points, okay, and I can explain it, okay, freely, okay, with a better freedom compared to the other 4 style of explaining main points. Okay. So for example, roles of a counselor, I might want to start with establish good rapport with external bodies like NGO, police, JKM, blah blah blah. So I explain more about that point, okay? And then I might want to tell about carry out individual and group counselling, and then I explain. Plan motivational program for students and staff, I explain. Or I simply want to start with the last box there. I want to start my speech about roles of a counselor with the topic of provides the students information to parents and administrators on the students' well-being. So it means that this is the role of a counselor in a school, for instance. And then I jump to the first box. So I want to tell that the role of a counselor in school to establish good rapport with external bodies, blah blah blah. And then I go to plan motivational program for students and staff, for instance. So this is what we call as the topical order main points, whereby you can start or you can end from any angle because it is a topical order. There is no topic which is need to be put first, and then the second one comes and then ended by a specific topic. No, so this is among the chosen ones lah. Okay, topical order main points among public speakers. But because we have the freedom to explain from any angle, from any topic. Okay. Alright. So Lucas had shared with us several tips for main points. Okay. So according to Lucas, there are 3 tips for preparing effective main points. Number 1, speakers should keep their main points separate and distinct. So it is so helpful in terms of giving ourselves, okay, a clear distinction, okay, a clear border between a point with other points. You get it? Okay, for instance, I want to tell my audience about the importance of I want to tell my students about the strategy of studying. So I have several points. Number 1, to have what we call as buddy system. So I will explain about buddy system in studying effectively, okay, with the audience. I work with a student need to work with another friend of hers or him and study together, both of them. And then I go to how to study individually. So I tell the students or the audience about the strategy to study individually. So it means that it is separate and distinct. Study with body and study individually. So it is distinct and it is separated well. Okay. Number 2, speakers should try to use parallel wording in their main points. It means that any kind of words that you use, you need to make sure that it is parallel between points. So just now I gave you the example of giving the strategy of studying among students. So the parallel wording in that particular speech will be how to study. Okay, how to study. So point number 1, how to study with buddy. Number 2, how to have an individual kind of study. Number 3, how to study with busy environment, noisy environment. So this is what we call as parallel wording in main points. And then number 3, the third tips is speakers should balance the amount of time devoted to each main point. Okay, so if in the very beginning of the explanation just now, okay, I told you that public speaker need to arrange his points critically. He might want to put the justification of explaining more on topic number 1, 2, 3 and leave topic 4 and 5 to the participants to read by themselves after the session. So that's related to critical thinking of what do you think is more important than others. Okay, but here tips by Lucas is in another perspective. Lucas said that you should balance the amount of time devoted to each point. Why? Because here Lucas might want to tell us that we need to make sure that every single point's been delivered nicely lah, balanced. Okay, if we have 30 minutes, we have 3 points. So Lucas might want to tell us that we have the balance. We focus 10 minutes for first point, another 10 minutes for second point, and the last point also another 10 minutes. But again, I want to tell you, as a public speaker, you might have the different situation, okay, with different audience. So it means that it doesn't mean that you need to balance the amount of the time all the time. Okay, this is only tips. It doesn't mean that it is wrong. No, Lucas is correct here. But in another sense, for instance, if I'm having the same topic, but the audience number 1 is among the primary school students, standard 5 to standard 6, I might need to have this balance. Point number 1, 2, 3, because they need to understand these 3 points nicely. 30 minutes, point number 1, 10 minutes. Point number 2, 10 minutes. Point number 3, 10 minutes. But for maybe university students, third year students of counselling program, if I have 3 points, I might want to focus on the last point only, because the first and second points, I do believe that the students of third year counselling knew already. So this is what we call as the critical thinking need to be used there. We cannot treat our audience to be the same all the time. Okay. So these are among the tips as what Lucas shared with us. Alright. Okay. Next is talking about supporting materials for main points. Okay. So when we talk about supporting materials, okay, it is the materials used to support a speaker's ideas. Okay, the materials are actually the apa dipanggil supplement to a public speaker. So the 3 major kinds of supporting materials, okay, as what we can find in Lucas textbook is examples, statistics, and also testimony. Okay, kita dah belajar kan pasal examples, pasal statistic and testimony in our previous chapter. So I hope that you can read by yourself carefully. Alright. So once the main points of a speech are in strategic order, a speaker must make sure that the supporting materials are effectively organized. You have all your examples organized nicely. So the examples not been jumbled up with different points. No, make sure that a point is supported by a correct example or a correct statistics or a correct testimony, not been jumbled up. Nanti our audience will get it so hard to understand our points carefully and nicely lah. Okay. And then it is so crucial that supporting materials be well organized because misplaced supporting materials are confusing to listeners. Okay. So for instance, we are having 3 points. So the first point we have what we call as the examples. So it's good. We deliver the points and then we have examples. And then for the second main point, we deliver it nicely and then we put a supporting material of statistics which actually need to be used to explain main points number 1 tadi tu. So this is what we call as it will confuse the listeners. So make sure that we have point and the supporting material must support the point. Okay, not been delivered to support maybe the next point or the previous point. And then B, details and evidence need to be directly relevant to the main points they support. Okay, if it is not relevant, if it is not directly related, so what is the meaning of the supporting materials? Okay. Alright, so when we talk about connectives, okay, what is connective? Okay, connective is a word or a phrase which connects the ideas of a speech and indicates the relationships among them. Okay, so speakers should use connectives, penyambung-penyambung ni nama dia, to strengthen their organisation in the body of the speech. Okay, so connectives are, again, words or phrases that join one thought to another and indicate the relationship between them. Apa contoh connectives? So, contoh connective macam inilah. Ini connective lah ni. Okay. And next, because, moreover, as well as, furthermore, later. So these are the examples of connective word. Okay. These are also the connectives lah. Okay. And then for, since, however, all of a sudden, beside, in addition to, meanwhile, at last, although, and so on. So these are the connective words. And you can also have what we call as connective sentence. Alright, so I hope that you can read by yourself, okay, to understand this more. Okay, next, there are 4 types of connectives. Okay, so according to Lucas, there are 4 types of connectives. Number 1, transitions. Okay, number 2, internal previews. Number 3, internal summaries. And number 4, signpost. I hope you can remember all these 4 types of connectives carefully. Okay, we go to transitions. Transitions indicate when a speaker has completed one thought and is moving on to another. This is transition. Okay, the transition will indicate to the audience that we as a public speaker is going to move to another main point. So this is the first connective, transition. Okay, boleh faham For instance, I'm telling you, okay, I want to share with you on how to bake a burnt cheesecake. So these are the ingredients. Number 1, 2 tablespoons of tepung gandum. Number 2, white flour. Number 2, 250 gram of cheese. Okay, the best cheese that you can use is Tatura cheese. Number 3, 135 milliliter of whipping cream. Number 4, you need to have what we call as castor, gula castor. Okay, castor sugar lah. Okay, and then you need to have maybe 2 teaspoons of apa nama dia, rasa pandan. Okay, ataupun kita panggil sebagai vanilla essence. Okay, and then that's it. you need to have 3 eggs, okay, and then you blend it together. That's the ingredients. Now let us move to how we want to bake. So this is what we call as the transitions. I want to make sure that you know that are the ingredients, all the eggs, all the flour and so on. Now we want to move on to how to bake it. So this is what we call as transitions. Okay, you can read the examples given by Lucas in page 171. Number 2, the next connectives. Internal previews. Internal previews let the audience know what the speaker will take up next. Okay, so when we talk about internal previews, you can have the example in page 171 and 172. Okay, Lucas had put an example of internal preview. Okay, I will focus on 3 solutions, blah 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 blah. So this is internal preview. Internal preview means you are giving a clue, okay, of what you want to deliver in the next point. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have shared with you the ingredients of a burnt cheesecake. Now I want to start with the next part, which is how to bake the cheesecake. So this is internal preview. Now I want to start the explanation of baking a cheesecake. So itu internal previews, okay? And then number 3, internal summaries. What is internal summaries? It reminds listeners of what they have just heard. Okay, I might have delivered my second point. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we are baking our ingredients that we have put it together, okay, and then we have blend it together, okay, in a blender. So now we put it in an oven, okay, with the temperature of 180 to 200. So we need to bake it up and down, okay, balance, okay, and then it takes around 60 minutes or 50 minutes, 50 minutes to 60 minutes, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to give you internal summaries. Let us recap, okay. So all the ingredients like flour, white flour, and then we have our castor sugar, we have blah 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 blah, we have blended it together, remember. Now we are in the process of baking it. Nampak tak? So ini nama dia internal summaries. We summarize the previous points so that we can remind listeners of what they have just heard. And the last one is the connectives of signposts. Okay, apa signposts? Signposts are brief statements that indicate exactly where a speaker is in the speech or that focus attention on key ideas. Okay, so good examples been given by Lucas in page 172. Okay, example of signpost is like the first example tu lah. The first cause of this problem, blah blah blah. The second cause is blah blah blah, and the final cause is blah 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 blah. So ini namanya signpost. We are giving signal, so that the audience understand. Oh, now we are in the second points. Oh, now we are in the next point. Oh, now we are in the last point, because the first cause, the second cause, the final cause, itu namanya signpost. Okay, so we let the audience know that this is the connectives. These are the connectives. Okay, signposts. Alright, and so on. Okay, so again, when we talk about connectives ni adalah words or phrases that join one thought to another and indicate the relationship between the major points. And then there are 4 types of connectives. We have transitions, we have internal previews, we have internal summaries, and then the last one is signpost. Okay, so I hope that you got everything that I had shared with you just now. Okay, so as a summary, clear organization is so important. It is so vital to a public speaker and his speech. So listeners demand coherence. Listeners demand things which is being put clearly to them. Listeners want things that related to their needs, okay, of the topic. So they get only one chance to get the speaker's idea because we are delivering it once. So we need to make sure that the delivery must be so clear. How? By having good organization of our speech. Okay, so we are having our discussion about the process of planning the body of a speech. Okay, and then we know that we can organize our main points in a lot of ways, okay, depending on our topic, the purpose, and the specific audience that sitting in front of us. We can have what we call as chronological order, special order, okay, and then a directional pattern, and then we have what we call as causal order, okay, cause and then effect, kan? And then we have the topical order, which always been the choice, okay, of public speakers out there. All right, and then problem solution order, okay, these are among the main points order or 5 main points organization that we can use. And then we need to make sure that our supporting materials are backing up whatever we have for our main points. If the supporting materials of examples, statistics, and so on are not related to whatever we delivered, so it is useless. Dia jadi merapu lah. Okay. And then I also had shared with you about connectives, okay, because connectives helps in terms of tying a speech topics together lah. Okay, so apa tu connectives? They are words or phrases which join one thought to another, okay, and indicate the relationship between them. So there are 4 types of connectives: transitions, internal previews, internal summaries, and signposts. So I hope that you understand this topic, okay, after the class, okay, after this recording, and I hope that you can read this chapter number 9, okay, from Lucas textbook carefully, because this will be included in your final examination or in your final evaluation lah. Okay, so wallahu alam bisawab. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.